God bless you, beloved. Welcome to Spiritual Adults. On this channel, we tell Bible stories. We just read them and allow God to drop something in our heart through the Holy Spirit. Today, I want to tell the story of Naaman the Lepper. The story is found in 2 Kings chapter 5. I want to look at it from another perspective. Naaman is from Syria. He says Syrians are not followers of Jehovah God. They are heathen. The Israelites, they are the ones that worship God, the true God. The Syrians don't worship the true God at all. And so in this story, we see Naaman, who is a Syrian, coming to Israel. So let's follow the story. So how did Naaman hear about the prophet in Israel? It happened that the Syrians raided Israel, and among the people they captured a young girl. And Naaman is the captain of the Syrian army, very successful and highly esteemed by the people and the king. And so the raid on Israel that led to the capture of this young Israelite girl led to the fact that she became the house help to Naaman's wife. Apparently, she observed that Naaman is a leper. And so she said to her mistress, "I wish my master would go to see the prophet in Samaria. It will heal him." And so this young Israelite girl testifies about the power of God working through a prophet in Israel. And so these heathen people, Naaman's wife heard the story of the power of God from this small girl. And the wife of Naaman did not keep this story to herself. She told the husband. So she kind of believed the story this young child told her. I think that's what piques my interest in the story. These are people who don't worship God. They have no relationship with Jehovah. But the wife of Naaman, just hearing the story that there's a prophet in Israel who could heal her husband's leprosy, believed this child. And then she took that information to her husband and said, there's a prophet in Israel who can heal leprosy. The husband believed the wife. And then Naaman went to talk to the king. And he said, there's a prophet in Israel, I hear, that can heal my leprosy. So the king believed. So the young Israeli who knows Jehovah tells about the prophet in Israel who can heal leprosy. She tells the mistress believes this young girl and tells the husband, who believes the wife, that truly there's a prophet in Israel who could heal them. And then the king, the highest, on the ladder pole, believed. There's no, as we read the story, nobody throughout this, the wife, the husband, and the king said, don't pay them. It could be false. There are, how do we know? They did not doubt at all. Everybody just have faith. They believed. That's what surprised me in this story. Nobody opposed the story of this young child. They didn't say, this young child, what does she know? They believed, they took her at her words. And he says, he said, this is what he said. He said, Naaman went to his master and told him what the girl from Israel has said. Listen to what the king said. By all means, go. By all means, go. That's what I'm saying. Look at the faith. They didn't even say, we're not sure, those Israelites, those, we don't know. He said, by all means, go. The king of Syria told him, I will send a letter to the king of Israel. Look at the enthusiasm with which he was encouraging Naaman to go. So Naaman left, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. Look at all, to a place he doesn't know, or the man he doesn't know. But look, he just believed what this child told. And I said, what? These are supposedly Gentiles. They don't know about the true God, but yet they repose their faith in him. And now, this is where the dichotomy starts. The letter that he took to the king of Israel read, with this letter, I'm sending my servant Naaman to you so that you may cure him of his leprosy. Definite. Cure him. He's full of faith. They believed that, he could be cured. And I said, what level of faith? But guess what? Let's listen to what an Israeli who knows Jehovah. Let's hear what he said when he read the letter. As soon as the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his robes. This is the dichotomy. I'm like, what? Am I God? Can I kill and bring back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be cured of his leprosy? See how he's trying to pick up a quarrel. So he just started operating in fear. We see all through the Syrians or the Arameans. They did not even dilly-dally. They did not even debate. Go. And look at how Naaman prepared. Look at the wife from a small child. Now it comes to Israel, an Israeli who knows Jehovah, who have seen the finger of God. Look at the faithlessness. Am I God? The question is, do you have prophets in Israel? Has God ever healed people before in Israel? That's the first thing. It should have been second nature to you. Truly, yes, we can do it. We have a prophet. You're not the one that will do it, but you have the knowledge of how God, operates in Israel. God, rules Israel. He runs Israel practically. And that's what I saw in this story. We see the people called heathen. The heathens, they believed in the God of Israel more than, the king, who is an Israeli. He tore his clothes. What you will have, that's what somebody who don't know God will do. Somebody who have no knowledge of Jehovah God or the God of Israel, that's what they're supposed to do. They'll tear their clothes and say, this is the end. But God of Israel has demonstrated time and time again that he is a powerful God. The world knows him. And so it set me thinking. The heathen, the people they call heathen, the Syrians, or people from Aram, they behave like they actually know Jehovah more than the king of Israel. And so Elisha the prophet heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes, and he sent him this message. Why have you torn your robes? This statement makes sense now. Until I saw it from the perspective of the Syrians, to see how they were eager to come to Israel and and let them see the finger of God as he will heal them. Here is the king losing his mind over the request. And so Elisha said, why have you torn your robes? Have the man come to me, and he will know that there's a prophet in Israel. Whereas the king is talking fear and unbelief, Elisha, continues the faith that these Gentiles have in the God of Israel. He said, let them come, and they will know that there is a prophet in Israel. And so Naaman actually went to meet Elisha. He did not even, now we can see the arrogance of, I now understand the arrogance of Elisha not coming out. He sent his servant, go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be cleansed. And he flipped. This is where he flipped a little bit. Naaman was incensed because it was too easy. I thought you would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord, his God, wave his hand over the spot and cure me of my leprosy. So we can understand he's a Gentile, doesn't know so much, but he still believes in God. You see how he's talking like somebody said, he will have called on the name of the Lord his God. He talks more sense than the king of Israel. He's a Gentile. And then he started saying, that's when he started his famous quote, are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the water excuse me, let me take that again. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned and went off in a rage. We can understand he's a Gentile. So the servant talked sense into him and said, my father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he tells you, wash and be cleansed? So he went, you see how quick even though he was angry, but he quickly turned. So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and became clean. So we see how quickly they just, yes, he was angry for a minute, but he recovered himself quickly and obeyed. The hopelessness that was expressed by the king of Israel is not what we see in this Gentile. When you compare 2 of them, the king of Israel doesn't even behave like the king of Israel, who knows Jehovah God. So, and look at it, he said he came back. Naaman and his attendants went back to the man of God. He stood before him and said, now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel. So when you look at the story, the Syrians they esteemed God, they honored him more than the king of Israel. In my humble opinion, I stand corrected, but as I'm reading it, they talk more. They honored God more in all their decisions and their reactions here. And so eventually, and this is towards the tail end in verse 18. This is what I think I'll take it from 17. He says, Naaman, this is Naaman talking to Elisha. If you will not, said Naaman, please let me, he was saying, if you will not take gift from me. Then he said, let me, your servant, be given as much earth, which is dirt, as a pair of mules can carry. That is animals, mules. Let me have, dirt that 2 mules can carry. For your servant will never again make burnt offerings and sacrifices to any other God but the Lord. But may the Lord forgive your servant for this one thing. When my servant enters the temple of Rimmon to bow down, and is leaning on my arm, and have to bow there also, when I bow down in the temple of Rimmon, may the Lord forgive your servant for this. And Elisha said, go in peace. So if we have to take everything, every word said by Naaman, the king of Syria, and put it aside, you see how they talk more of God than the king of Israel. And I started thinking about it. I will say, oh, they are Gentiles. They don't know God. But we that know the God, let us weigh our God well. So it looks like the king of Israel fear was what was it was operating in fear. And Naaman just believed. His belief in the God of Israel brought him all the way from Syria to Israel, and he got his healing. That was approved even by Elisha, the prophet. So may we not let fear rule us. I think that's the takeaway. Even in the face of things that will shake us, have a Selah moment and then look up to the God of Israel, who will never leave us nor forsake us. I hope you enjoyed this story like I did and learned something, a thing or two. That we should not let anything shake us. We should try and operate in faith and not in fear. Thank you for listening. God bless you. I love you. See you next time on Spiritual Odors.